If you're dealing with back pain when running, this is the video for you. I'm going to share with you 3 things that could be contributing to it, and then stick around to the end because I'm going to talk about some misconceptions that people have about back pain and running. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, and enjoy. I am Dr. Nate, and I'm a physical therapist. I work with lots of runners, lifters, and just generally active people. And the main purpose of this channel is to help people overcome their pain, help them understand it, help them live well, get strong, and ultimately be able to help themselves. So let's dive right in. So number 1 reason that people are experiencing back pain and other issues with running stems from their stride frequency. So what I mean by stride frequency, it's how, if you're a runner, you know this, how many steps you're taking per minute. So if you're overstriding and you're trying to really push it and your intensity levels are high, then this can contribute to lower back pain. Reason for that is multifaceted. If you're overstriding, then you can and you don't have enough like hip extension, which is another thing we're going to talk about, then you can actually be putting a lot of repetitive stress on the lower back. Adjusting your stride frequency, typically increasing it by about 5%, clears up a lot of issues. Now the specifics of why stride frequency helps so much with just fixing knee pain, hip pain, ankle, and lower back pain, it's debatable, but adjusting your stride frequency is one big thing that you can do today, just by like 5%. That's what the literature is showing us right now. It used to be like, try to get as close to 170 or 180 as possible, but the guidelines have since changed and they'll probably change again. So I'll probably be making more videos about this in the future. Number 2, your volume and your intensity. So these are just basic principles of exercise. So if you were running, once or twice a week and you all of a sudden increased to 5 times a week and you literally doubled or tripled how much you're doing, you probably are doing too much too soon, right? So if you increased your volume that much, then that's just a huge spike to your workload. So your body might not be able to handle that yet. You need to back off a little bit of how often you're doing it. Another reason that kind of coincides with that is if you spike your intensity too far. So like, for example, if you're running 9, 8, 7, 6, whatever minute miles, and then you are pushing it and you're working at like 90 to 95% effort level, like really 9 out of 10 difficulty on all of your workouts, it's like you're putting the gas pedal fully down in your car all the time. And that's going to be really hard on your body. So you have to be able to adjust and train smart, not just go as hard as you can 5 times a week, because you're going to burn yourself out. And this is something that can contribute to back pains. And then number 3, and this is just my opinion, going back to number 1 of why the stride frequency typically helps with back pain. Let's say that you don't have enough hip extension. I see this with a lot of runners and just a lot of people in general, that their hip extension, meaning how far their leg can get behind them without arching their lower back, is pretty poor. So one thing which increasing your stride frequency does is it decreases how far you have to put your foot out in front of you. So you don't have to have quite as much hip extension, so it's not forcing your back into a lot of lumbar lordosis, which is not a bad thing, but if you do it repetitively, it can be irritating. And then also it that decrease. The decrease in stride length and the increase in frequency also decreases braking forces. So you're landing a little more smoothly. You're actually allowing for your biomechanics to work properly. Your body's now propelling itself forward rather than trying to stop itself every time that you're stepping. So less jarring forces being put through the body too. So those are some reasons, some potential contributing factors and solutions to if you're dealing with back pain while running. Now, this is towards the end, and I wanted to talk about some misconceptions that people have, and it just gets me. So number one is my glutes aren't firing. This is honestly, it's nonsense. Your glutes are always firing. Maybe you don't feel it as much, but unless you had some sort of spinal cord injury, your glutes are firing. Like, that's just how your body works, and it doesn't selectively just turn your glutes off. So let's just squash that myth right now. Like, that doesn't happen. And if you're talking about that before you're talking about what your volume, intensity, stride frequency is and how your range of motion is, I don't even want to hear about the my glutes aren't firing. So that would be like way lower on the list. And I barely ever look at that, and I usually talk about what does your training actually look like before we even go down that rabbit hole, because it doesn't lead anywhere good. And then another thing is like, oh, I'm just wearing the wrong shoes. That's like saying I'm just sleeping in the wrong, my bed is the contributor to my back pain. Like, people go through all sorts of weird rationalizations that it's like the last thing. Like, let's say that somebody was having back pain and they were attributing it to their bed, but we didn't even talk about what does your exercise routine look like, what's your work schedule look like, how are you managing stress in your life, all these different things. It's like getting way too granular before looking at the bigger picture. Now, I'm not saying that different shoes aren't better for different people, but it's one of the last things we should look at. And so it's a misconception that oh, it's just my shoes that are contributing to it. It's well, no, probably not. It's probably more of your training variables. So your frequency, so how often are you running, and your volume, your intensity, so how hard are you training, and then also one of the variables just stride frequency, how often are you stepping. So those are the main things. Please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on some of those things, and I will respond to those. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this channel so you can get lots of other tips and tricks. I will be posting lots of different videos in the days to come. I almost forgot, I've got a back pain course that kind of goes through step by step all the different things that we can do to kind of diagnose our own back pain and self-direct treatment. So you can do that. That will be in the description below. And then I've also got 10 mobility exercises that you can also check out. No email needed for that one, so just take it, use it. And I'm going to be posting a lot more different resources down below as well. So go ahead and check that out in the description below. Enjoy. So hope you enjoyed, and until next time, peace.